Slaughter, he's back there as well. Again, racing all over the track. Doesn't matter where you are, the positions do matter. Never know where this will come into fruition. But we'll see what happens. Lap number 20, about maybe 15 laps. Actually, no, I got to reset that. We're not 15 laps away because everybody pitted around a lap 11. So we're looking at probably a good run to about lap 40. So it should be a one-stop race for basically everybody from this juncture.
Yeah, now it's all about repetition, getting those laps in on the long run. As get a nice zoom up shot there of Matt Kemp in the 51, the Daytona winner. He can be stress-free about wherever he runs in this race. Of course, you want to run well, but he's got that win in the bag, and as long as he makes the races, he'll be able to clinch a playoff spot if he keeps going up and he stays inside the top 20 in points. Ooh, a little further back, Zach Kerr got the door slammed on him shut. I'm not sure who that was. It looked like a 609 car, and that was Philip Groner in the 11. Tried shutting the door on him, but Kerr flying back on the inside.
You could see already that the tires are starting to degrade a little bit, even though they pitted about 10 laps ago. You could just see the 12 occur, just chase it up the track, really struggling getting that number 12 car turned. And of course, I think as we referenced a little bit in the grid, Zach Kerr, I believe, well, you can see 19-year-olds, he didn't fill out the spreadsheet, so I just kind of put little silly facts in there. But he is an Australian native, which means from a racing perspective, some of these guys just have to be a little bit more cautious around him. Of course, racing halfway across the world, the ping and the the network latency a little bit higher. But I will say that's a solid connection there from where he is in Australia, getting some good racing in, and Scioli there trying to look at the back bumper of that number 12.
Yeah, just buying his time, logging in laps, and mentioned the 7 of Scioli. He led the most laps in this race back in Season 5. Did not come through with the win. Came through with a 6th place finish, though, but he's still looking to get his first win of the season. Over here, he's a multi-time champion in area. He's won in the Pro Series before. He's won in trucks as well. So he knows how to get the job done. It's been a little rough as of late so far for Season 7, but he's looking to get around Zach Kerr now in Turn 3.
Down to the inside as that ideal line gets all the way down. You don't want to touch that curb, but you want to get right up next to it. Sometimes hitting the paint there can actually be a little bit of grip, help that car turn around these 90-degree turns here at the Brickyard. And will he clear himself off the corner? Not quite. Well, Kerr may have allowed him to clear. Pulls back in the line. Sometimes racing side by side will cost you some more position, so sometimes not worth it. But you can see a little racing back there. But I do want to go back up to the 24 of Marin for a brief moment, because he hasn't gained really any spots there, Hunter, from that pit stop. He lost the spots and got relegated back to about 9th, and I think he's really only picked off 1 since the restart. It shows how difficult it is to pass here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, really, really tough with it being a one-groove track, and you don't want to overcook your tires. Otherwise, you're really going to be in for intriguing day. But slowly but surely, that 24 is working his way back to the top 5 where he was before that yellow came out. He's on the bumper of Jeff Wright in the 48 for the 7th spot. Might be setting him up for a good run into Turn 1 here. Got to go through the front stretch. Doesn't look like it's quite there, but Slipstream is going to put him a little bit closer. Don't think he'll send it into 1, so he'll just buy his time for possibly a move on the backstretch.
191 miles an hour here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, down about 144 mid-center there on board with the Pepsi ride of Jeff Wright, reminiscent of, I want to say, about a 2010 era Jeff Gordon car. Someone will correct me on that in chat, but I feel like he ran that car at Las Vegas in 2010 and butchered the race until they made a terrible pit call. Still not over that one. But here comes Marin underneath, side by side into 3. Very easy pass. And move Marin into 7th. And then we'll have Taco Bell and Pepsi right next to each other. What a amazing combination that is, Wright and Kemp.
The home of the Baja Blast, so good for them on that. That was a gold mine move there. And whoa, look in the back. This is outside the top 10.
Venable.
Right around 10th, actually. Venable looking to get around Blaze McKinney for that position, going into 1. And looks like McKinney's going to back off and try to get a run, but he'll let him go this time.
And then right behind that, we talked about Logan Clampitt being in the 15th spot. Well, X that thought out, because now he is in 12th. And perhaps X that out once more, because that number 87 of Blaze McKinney is under fire. Not under fire, he's in fire. He's on fire. He's in some form of fire in the form of Logan Clampett going side by side. And again, everyone being cordial here early in the race. Just let him go and move Clampett up to 11.
Yeah, slowly but surely he'll be a front runner for this one, at least for a top 5 finish, I would say. 42, one of the only cars on track that can get a move on through the field. Meanwhile, Nichols has distanced himself from Matthew Bell about 1.1 seconds. In third, it's Zach Nichols, no relation to the 73 and the 44, but he is eyeing up to get around that 9 of Matthew Bell and solidify the first 2 positions of the race for Nichols as the last name, trying to set up a good run down the back.
You can really see the struggle that Matt Bell is having, much more so than Nichols is at this juncture, to get through these corners here. Matt did not get through turn 1 very well at all. Really struggled to get that car pointed, and that time did a lot better in 3. I think maybe he backed his corner up, hit that apex, but you could just see the car just wiggling there, and he's constantly correcting it. And here comes Zach. He's trying to do that high-low move and get that fabulous run off the corner, that of which he did. Look at him go.
Remember what Kyle Larson did in real life at Indianapolis with the Cup car, trying to get around the field, just diamond up through the corners in different ways, and Zach Nichols did just that. Now he has his eyes set on Jake Nichols, 1.4 seconds in front of him. Meanwhile, behind the 66 of Lukomsky, he won the pole, led early on, but he wants to get back in the running for this one. He clipped that curb in turn 2, to set him up for a bad backstretch, and here comes Bappy trying to take away that spot.
Like I said, it is such a fine line here at Indianapolis. You really want to get right there to that white line, and you want to get a little below it. You just don't want to touch that rumble strip there to the inside. But if you touch it, you're essentially getting dirt on the tires. Your car's getting upset. You're going to walk it up the track. But if you can get it perfectly, there's a little bit more grip down there right under that line. A very fine line, high risk, high reward to nail that move. But running a lot smoother as we go this time by. We'll switch things over, give us a reference where things stand. 15 laps since our pit stop, so again, give us about another 20. But at the same time there, you have to consider the potential strategies that you can play there, Hunter. Let's take a look with Lemowski here. 56.5. That's about a 2-second fall off. That opens the door for the undercut on the tire strat if you think that could win you the race or gain you some spots.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as Clampett's looking to enter the top 10, trying to get around, actually 9th. He is in the top 10. He's working his way around Matt Kemp, but yeah, you're going to have to do something to try to throw the 73 off his game.
2.4 seconds? Wow.
Yeah, he is... I mean, that's how much tire wear matters, but you're going to have to find a way to get around that 73 on pit road, whether that be pitting early, trying to undercut the 73, or just staying out late as possible, overcutting, and then hoping that the tire is going to be a bigger advantage for you late in the going. But yeah, the 42 of Logan Clampett, he's up to 9th. He's just working his way inside the top 10. Has his eyes set on Jeff Wright in the 48 car for that 8th spot, just a little up the road. Behind him, Venable and Kemp looked like they were going to go side by side. They might do it here. This is for the 10th spot.
Yeah, Venable looking on the inside and is trying to get to that left rear, trying to enable the side draft, and I don't think he'll need it because Kemp was super high. I talked about how that safer barrier tapers. He just about kamikazed the entry of it there. Very high entry, but he lets him go. Move Kemp back to 11th. Venable in the top 10. All the while, Clampett, he is up to 9th, and I think I vaguely referenced a little bit ago, he was 15th and he was 3.5 seconds back. He has gained 0.9 of a second. We've continued running, and somebody has absolutely murdered themselves.
My gosh, that was Brad Slaughter. He hit the inside wall, then he hit off the pit attenuator, and that's a big wreck that's going to bring out the caution and shake up strategy.
Nope, I mean, no pun to his name, but Brad just slaughtered himself there. Let's take a look at what started it here. He was running in the back behind the 39 of Wayleman here, and little kiss to the wall, but it completely upset the car. 1 wall, 2 wall. Oh, somebody
Holy cow.
got some aerial action there. Get a
I think that
different
was Harrison in the 23 that might have clipped him. Hamilton, I should say.
31,
Francis Hamilton.
23. Yeah, there was somebody else as well. We'll try. I am not the world's best slow-mo person here, but I'll do my very best here. Just bear with me, folks.
31, that'd be Jimmy Cocker. 23, it'd be Francis Hamilton that played a part in that, but you can see he just bounced off that end of that pit wall. Casey Licata's just missing. There's
31.
Cocker going through him.
Yeah. And I don't think Francis was as lucky there in that 23. Ed Robertson, getting on board with him. He saw all this come into fruition right in front of him.
Yeah, he had a good view of the A car levitating on the front stretch.
And he's like, all right, well, better them than me. But either way, that is the field. And we'll all assemble back. And this puts us with 44 to go. So we go from having a guaranteed strat to the race to now we have questions, because now if you pit here, you still have to pit again, but you can't save 10 laps extra. So at some point, there's either going to be another caution or we're going to really have an interesting way to split the end of this race. But let's see what these guys do. I would imagine we'll take tires. It's been quite some time. We still have 3 more on the wall. I think we can burn another one, and seems like that's going to be on the cards right now.
Yeah, it might as well come in. It's going to be the overwhelming strategy, just coming in, getting 4 tires. Should be interesting seeing what guys do this time around. I mean, we saw under the previous pit stop under yellow, Marin came in inside the top 5, and he almost was outside the top 10 after his pit stop. He was the only one that I noticed that was in the 50-second margin from his time on pit entry to pit exit. So see what happens here.
All right, everybody coming out of the attention of their crews, and expect to see those jacks going up as they are. And obviously, some guys had better stops than others. That 24, remember, he did not have a good pit stop last time by. He's going to hope that he can have a better one this time and maybe gain some spots rather than losing them. Here comes the mad rush to the exit of the pits. Here comes the 73. 73 will come out with the lead. Will Bell hang on to second? He will. And some pretty close battles after that.
Yeah, some guys were getting a little too close for comfort there, but for the most part, seemed like everything shaked up just fine. I mean, Zach Nichols actually big loser from that, drops from 2nd to 5th. Bell up to 2nd. Bappy, from the looks of things, up to 3rd. That's a big pickup for him. 66 is still 4th. John Furness still in the 6th position, and looks like everybody came out in pretty much the same spot. Actually, Logan Clampett fell down to 12th after that.
Now lost a couple spots there, and especially when you don't have the best pit stall. Logan probably was pitted right there off turn number 3, and then you're entering your pits while everybody's exiting. Some people still entering the pits, and it's just a hot mess when you're back there on a busy pit lane. But a little bit before halfway, but not too far before, so we can start to talk about some of our other partners here with the Area iRacing Series. Elite Entertainment. Add some life to your party this spring with Elite Entertainment. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, and more. That link tree is in the description. You can get some information. And also, the High Banks podcast. 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 228 with Jacob Bell. We are long awaiting episode 229, but it will happen. But catch up on 228 and the other 227. Those are on Spotify. That is our 1 to green, and we'll see what happens this time by. We know that 9 has the short run pace. We know that 73 has the long run pace. But just given what we have at play, Hunter, with this essentially automatic pit stop that will have to happen. We're only 40 laps in, so that pit stop can be, maybe a 20 lap run, maybe a 15 lap run, maybe a 25 lap run. It's going to be a short-ish stint, so I would expect these guys could turn the wick up a little bit.
assume the aggression level to rise a little bit more. We're nearing halfway through, and with as long as that green flag run went, not always a guarantee that a yellow could come out, as we saw from the Ada Bradslaw, which, by the way, 2 incident points for him as the sole cause of that caution. So next week he'll have an EOL for Watkins Glen, and that's an interesting one because on road courses we don't have any cautions. So it's clean. Well, might not be clean, but it's green from start to finish. So those guys are going to have fun trying to navigate that, and haven't been there in a while, so it'll ruffle up some feathers. But for the meantime, we'll have to see if Jake Nichols can add his name to winners of the Brickyard here at Indianapolis, or will Matthew Bell finally pull through and get that first win in the Area Pro Series presented by Florida State Builders.
Yeah, I always know back to the penalties that there's certain, and when I used to race more, there was always, if you're going to get a penalty, don't get a penalty during the race before the road course, because I've had that happen before, and it's certainly going to be difficult, but we'll see what happens to those guys next week. But we still have over half of our race here at Indianapolis. Jake Nichols, first time he's the control vehicle, and he'll get a very good jump here. The whole shot by a long shot here off the jump, and we'll see who can get the second place position. Looks like it might be the 66.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, a great restart from him. He'll jump up to second off of that, so almost back to where he started the race. That's the pole sitter. Batby looking to clear Bell for third. He will. He might slide up on exit, so here comes Matthew with a great run. He'll take it to the inside. Side by side throughout the rest of the field. It's door to door for third, fifth, seventh on the track, and Nichols doing the sting method, trying to keep the 66 at bay.
About 2 by 2 by 2 here, about the fourth on back. 71 actually using that outside lane. Talked about it here, that it does have some interesting perspectives, interesting ways that it can work, especially as you get that rubber, that heat down in the track. Sometimes these guys will find, even on a flat track, that they can go all the way up there in that second lane with a little bit of momentum. But that snaking game in play, trying to get the draft, trying to break the draft. But here comes, I think, John Furness here. He has got himself in the 6th spot, and he is battling with a 24. I don't know who's the passer and the passee, but we'll find out.
Sebastian Marin is the passer. He came out 8th on that pit stop, and Furness was still P6. They were sideways there, but it might bring the 48 3 wide. But no, Furness going to try and block him down to the grass. That's not very fun, at least for the 48, but he's going to take it to the inside of Furness, 3 deep. Barron got to be careful, and he'll get through just fine.
I was very worried about what the 48 of Wright was going to do there, because you cannot enter the corner with any level of normality when you're all the way down that low on the track. You have to get back up and preserve a corner entry here. Here comes Venable taking advantage of nothing because of caution, and I can see Anna Sogak there in the 88 facing an improper direction. I don't think Dale's saying hell yeah after that one. Let's go on our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay and sort something out.
39 of Weileman was involved in that one as well.
So Weileman to the inside, and then Ed Robertson. I think, I don't see what happened to the 88. I think that was completely unrelated there.
Yeah, well, Weileman got hit from the 64.
I think that may have been a net code hit there, but let's get one more perspective from Robertson, because I think I see what's going on. Not that I need to be the caller on this, but...
Well, he was almost caught up in that last yellow. Now he might be the sole reason of this yellow.
Yeah, he cut him. I mean, he was clear, but he was clear and then instantly, had to back off for the corner. And I don't think Robertson was able to kind of expect and react to that quickly enough. So ultimately gave him a little bit of a shunt. Don't think it was intentional. It's kind of circumstantial there.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the admin's rule on that. I would say that's a racing incident. I mean, came across his nose, and it's at a point in the turn where you got to brake, so a bit abrasive there. But this does put us in a window where some guys might come down pit road, and
this is exactly
top
halfway.
It off on fuel.
Just about halfway, 1 lap shy.
Clampett's going to come down. Mixed bag, very mixed bag here.
Yeah, remember this, as I talked about, he's right there in those very, very opening stalls, and he's going to put a set of Goodyears on. We were only, about 5-6 laps in? So he is Yeah, 4 laps, and he's already putting another set of Goodyears on. Sometimes that's unintentional. Sometimes you just forget to tell the crew, hey, let's not do this. But at the same time, 4 sets, maybe he knows, yeah, I don't need the rest of them. We'll see what some of these other guys are going to be doing as well. But we are going to step aside for a brief moment here in Indianapolis, and we will be back with you guys for the restart. So please stay with us and enjoy some copyright-free autocross. And we are back here to PTR TV, and if you're watching on Twitch, we are back here on the Area iRacing Twitch for, again, round number 4 of the Area Pro Series by Florida Estate Builders here at Indy. 75 lapper is what we got here tonight, and we are on our, I want to say, 5th caution. Let's see what the survey says. 4 cautions for 12 laps here at Indy with 38 laps to go. Matthew Bappy running the fastest lap of the race at about a 54 flat. On that last incident that we had, it was deemed a racing incident by the 64 and 39, so no incident points to be had there as we'll come through turn 4. We'll have Dominic Lumowski and Jake Nichols leading us down for this restart, Hunter.
Yeah, it's been a interesting race so far. Had some long green flag racing, but also had some quick and violent chaotic yellows. But for the most part, we're crossing that halfway bridge. So Jake Nichols going to lead us back to green. The 66 of Lukonski on the outside. Matt being the 71 might be in a good spot here, but we'll determine that in turn 1. Green flag back out at Indy.
All right, turn 1 here at Indy is what we got going on. A little bit of 3-wide way back in the field. Nichols gets the hole shot by about 2-3 car lengths here, but Matt Bappy, this is the highest he's been on the day, fighting for that 2nd position. Zach Nichols in the 44 car in the 4th spot, battling, and he is trying to make some headway, but look at that 71. Let's see what he can do, highest he's been here on the evening.
They are really shaking it out down here, but Nichols over half a second in front of Bappy. Guys trying to get slimmed down into turn 3. Going to be tough, but Furness going to take it to the 9 of Bell. He'll drop outside the top 5 for the most part. Meanwhile, here comes Zach Nichols looking to take 2nd away from Bappy.
Yeah, he really got loose sideways off turn 4. That cost him his momentum and killed the run that he had built up. And now Batby's going to really try to snake, go all the way back up, get that ideal line, but that opens the door for Nichols. Nichols will not dive it on in there. That's 71. You can see he actually completely missed the apex of the corner, but that may have been intentional because he actually held some pretty good speed there in that second lane, surprisingly.
It seemed to work out there in the end. Meanwhile, Sebastian Mayer going to take it 3 deep down the back. He's trying to get up to the front in a hurry. Time is winding down for him. And then behind him as well, Venable looked like he was going to go 3 deep.
And he's keeping it 3 wide there. Furness luckily was able to drive it in on the outside. Oh, Bell got pushed out into no man's land there, able to hang on to it. And he will lose position by position, settles back out in about the 11th spot.
Yeah, not the run that he wanted. Here comes Skyley, going to take that spot away, but behind him, looking 3 deep was Deweese, and even behind them, they're still going 3 deep. That's Zach Kerr in the 12, going 3 wide. Oh, really tight through 1.
Oh, 77 of Venable washing right up the track. Again, that safer barrier there. I think, speaking of which, it looked as if Bell may have made some contact there. He is really out of sorts here since that little faux pas that happened to him, but talked a little bit about on the pace lap with this sequence of pit stops that we're due to have, the sequence of tires that we're going to be changing in this little stint to the end. I think the aggression can turn up. I think they can drive harder because the tires won't have to go as far, and we're already seeing that this aggression, of all the restarts thus far, this has by far been the most aggressive one.
Yeah, I mean, time's dwindling here, so these guys know that if we get another long run, there's not going to be much time for them to make a move or gain ground on anyone, so they got to take every opportunity that they can. That's why we see the 48 of Jeff Wright trying to fight tough with the 77 of Venable on his outside. Blaze McKinney been around that 10th spot all day. Meanwhile, just up the road, Marin finally completes the pass on Furness. He'll enter the top 5. For the first time since the start of this one. It's been a tough race for that 24. We say that. He's been inside the top 10 for, I think, most of the day, if not all of it. But back inside the top 5, and now has his eyes set on the 66 of Lukomsky in the 3.
Now started 5th, was running 4th. Bad pit stop back to 8 or 9th. And oh my God, Venable there.
Whoa! Massive wreck into turn flying.
4. Someone else having issue. Braxton Deweese. He has lost his hood in that number 13. Massive carnage here at Indy. Try to sort this out here in a moment, but Venable certainly was a key part of it. Oh, I think someone ran each other out of space there. 13, there's Jeremy Miller. But we have to go from a top-down cam to really figure something out with this one.
That was a violent wreck. Seemed like Jeff Wright, he just...
Yeah, washed up the track. 77 was still there. There's the 13. There's Jeremy Miller. There's Bell. Zach Kerr as well. He had a little kiss to it as well, but all stemmed from just getting tight or just not lifting on corner exit, not having that spatial, just kind of lose control of your car where your competitors are, washed up, and there was a car still there.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Bell to be caught up in that, Zach Kerr as well, but now this really solidifies if you want to pit now, you can make it all the way on fuel.
Yep, 32 to go, so you shouldn't, and yeah, fuel basically not a concern.
No, not really.
Won't have much left, but you'll have enough.
Yeah, unless we get into overtime, which then you might need to push the panic button.
Here they come. Pit stops once more for most drivers. This will be their 3rd set of Goodyears used here on the day. So even with that, if another one comes out, you'll still have the opportunity. Somebody is playing some strat here and staying on circuit. We'll see who that is in a brief moment, but the majority of the leaders coming down. Is that Logan Clampett? Yes, Clamp staying on the track. Remember, he pitted on that caution, two cautions ago at this point, and he had just changed tires, so he really only has, well, let's find out. We have the technology. realistically, he only has maybe 2 laps on those tires.
Yeah, this is a big call here. Same with the Okresic staying out, John Forbes Jr., Andrew Payne, those guys staying out. Track position going to be very key here for this restart. Really going to shake things up. Not really sure what to expect here. And then even then, some guys in the back like Joseph Berg or Nate Stewart, they're going to be inside the top 10 as well. They took... I don't even think they took 2. Well, Nate Stewart, I think, might have taken 2. Evans definitely took 2. But this whole running order has just been thrown around like a broken puzzle, and pieces are everywhere.
I am going to ascertain. I'm not going to go back and check it again, but I'm going to ascertain just by the time, because you can see Jonathan Evans 9 seconds, but you can see Stewart 6.9. So I'm going to say that's probably fuel only for Stewart, because that extra 2 seconds, I would imagine that's what it takes to change that right side. So. But a lot of these guys pit a little bit ago, and you know what we saw earlier in the event, we saw the speed that the 24 had, but he really struggled to get up to that halfway point, rather to get up the field again. Once he got to 8th, he only got halfway up to 4th, so it's really hard to drive through the field here at Indy, so I would take track position over 2-lap fresher tires.
Yeah, this will really be fun to watch on the restart. Just the different strategies merging all into one. So it'll be Connor Okresic's turn to lead the field to the green flag next time by. And he's been making some progress throughout the season. He's up to 11th in the standings, jumped up 12 spots after a solid top 10 finish from New Hampshire. So Okresic's still looking to climb up the rankings through the points system. Meanwhile, Logan Clampett trying to get himself a win on the season and solidify his playoff eligibility. I'm trying to look at where he's at in points. Don't know where he's at. He's actually 18, so he lost 11 spots last week because I don't think he showed up. So he'll be in a tough spot, but will be fun to watch on this restart, just the jump that the 14 gets and how wide these guys want to fan out, 2, 3, 4, even 5 wide if they even want to try it down the back.
I mean, we saw earlier that 48 was not afraid to go touch the grass there. And just as a back note as well, track temp up to 126, so we are back to essentially what we qualified at, which is a significantly harder track than we practiced at. So this is the least amount of grip these guys have had since the green flag has flown. And that'll add to things here. We are getting confirmation. Nope, that's all. We're still waiting for confirmation on that last wreck, but there was a lot to decipher. But we'll see what happens. Okresic and Clampett. Clampett, I mean, it's hard to really bet against him with what he's done in this race. Okresic will be the control car. But if Clampett can even hold a whisker to his outside entering turn 1, we've seen how competitive that outside lane can be under the right conditions.
Yeah, through the turns, it'll be a godsend if you get through turn 2 just fine. And starting to see some leakage on the 42. That's not a good sign, especially coming up on a restart. But we'll see if his connection can hold through for the time being.
See what happens here as that Ford Mustang pace car will take the left-hand turn into the pit lane and put Barney back in control of the restart. He's going to have the flag in hand. You can see victory lane to the right of the screen. That's what these guys are fighting to be in 30 laps, and we're wrecking off the jump. Big one. Track is blocked.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the massive one, huge one.
That's everybody.
Well, I think maybe the first 10 cars or so might have gone through. As soon as I say that, Sebastian Marin caught up in that. It's a junkyard on the front stretch.
Yeah, this is called our speed shot cam, but it's more our let's get sorted cam. Don't even know where to start with this one. Let's just
look at the leader. I would look at the leader because it might be where Okresic went in the box for there to be a checkup that bad, where 20 plus cars are just stacked up together like a junkyard.
Yeah, I mean, we got to quote Larry Mack here for a second. Have you ever? Well, maybe once. Yeah, let's go from the top down, Cam. Presuming there's no buildings in our way. Of course there is. No! Building! Go away.
Yeah, it looks like he waited until that last cone.
I think
that last cone on the restart zone, that's where Okresic went, because but every other restart tonight's been fine. The leaders had a huge jump, so I'm not sure why that happened on this one.
This is Nate Stewart's perspective. He's about 3 rows back, but it looked okay. Well, we'll have to go. Who was second to the inside there? 17. He was second to the inside. So Forbes
Jr.
Yeah. If anything, I would actually lean to the 17, kind of forecasting it, and then forecasting it wrong, and then when he had to let off, that started it. And then you can just see the absolute ridiculous.
That's unfortunate. So, I mean, so many guys, they just got ended because of that. I mean, Sebastian Marin was in it. I'm pretty sure Jake Nichols was in it. Well, it's easier to, this is like 2002 at Talladega. It's easier to tail who wasn't in it than who was in it.
And you can see here, the track is blocked. I mean, it's just,
Well, Jake Nichols got through that, but John Furness was the last one to get through unscathed, and then everybody else is just caught up with nowhere to go.
I mean, they're all just pacing. They just pitted. It's just everybody in the pit. So I just want to get one more perspective. I want to get a perspective of Matt Bell, who is all the way in the back. A little bit of contact, but this is just the driver in the back. It's just, I'm just going to basically stop. And this is almost like playing Wreckfest. Going through the debris field, swerving around, and finding some real estate.
I want to picture what the drivers are saying on the radio right now. I'm pretty sure they're ticked off, but that changed the entire complexion of this race.
I mean, I think the biggest... we got a bunch of people in chat. Someone can fact check me on this. I want to say it was the 2002 NASCAR Busch Series Talladega Spring Race. It was the biggest wreck in the history of I think, NASCAR. And after that wreck, there was only about 5 cars after the race that were competitive. We have a little bit more than that now. Luckily, we have a lenient damage system here with these hard carbon fiber Xfinity cars, but that's probably one of the biggest wrecks I think IMS has seen, virtual or in real life.
Yeah, the only thing I can picture from real IMS was back in 2017, where they stacked it up with however many cars they had left in that cup race, and they just piled up about good 5 or 10 of them. But yeah, this is a gut wrenching for some of the guys, like the 66 of Lukomsky. He won the pole. He had a great run throughout the entire race, and then that second to last yellow came out, and then threw strategy out the window. Sebastian Marin down pit road as well. I mean, just there are 15 plus guys still sitting down pit road trying to repair damage.
There's the 90. There's Alan Fox. And there's DeWeese. Cocker Robertson. He's had a busy day. Nate Stewart. We talked to Nate Stewart last week at Loudon, and you could just hear how upset he was. He's like, we're 4 races into the season, so we're not, it's not like we're 8 races, 9 races in, but he feels like more than one of these races should have been his already. And a race that he had speed, just had to start at the back and didn't work out for him again. But if this race worked out for anybody right now, it's going to be that number 42 of Logan Clampett, because a lot of the guys that were on a normal, if you want to say the word normal tire strat, like they didn't, they pitted all at the same time. A lot of them were involved in that wreck, or they're far enough back. And remember, he only has about 2 or 3 race laps on those tires. So I think this just absolutely put him in a perfect spot. And I mean, not to offset that number 14. I mean, we haven't seen him claw through the field as much as the 42, but you can never count out that 14 of Okrezik.
Yeah, I mean, Okrezik, he's been longer due for a win in the area. I mean, he's a real-life racer on the short track scene, so he knows how hard it is just trying to stay in the fight and have a shot at it. So in the sim, the only time I can recall from my memory is that back in Auto Club, as he's blinking in and out, he had a shot to win. I think it was back in season 4, maybe season 3 in Auto Club. He sent it on the last lap underneath Jake Nichols. They wrecked in turn 3. There was a massive wreck, and then there was a 3-wide photo finish to come to the stripe that was the beginning due to the 14 of Okrezik sending it into turn 3 on the last lap. But he'll be in a good spot here to try and hold off Logan Clampett and John Forbes Jr. and even that 73 Jake Nichols. But here we go on the restart. Let's see if we can make it through this time.
We are getting knowledge here that they're saying the 44 laid back. And you can see all the guys here back of the field as we get green flag. A lot of the guys single file as the back of the field catches up. But Okrezik will get the whole shot in turn number 1. Forbes trying to get underneath Clampett here, but Clampett's going to go around the outside, and he will clear for second as we have more guys into the wall. That was a 73 of Nichols. Zach,
Bappy as well got into the... Jake Nichols in the 73 into the outside walls. Zach Nichols going to go around, and Matthew Bappy in the 71 clipped the outside wall as well. And then the 70 of Andrew Payne didn't get through turn 1 good as well. I don't think he clipped the wall, but definitely didn't go through well on that outside. Meanwhile, these guys still slicing and dicing inside the top 10. Jake Nichols, a little bit of not sure if that was netcode there, but Payne got loose, and around goes the 73 passing him for 6th.
That battle will solidify itself, but up front, about a 10.5 difference between the 14 and the 42, and a little bit of a baby snake move there down the inside. Clampett will not follow. Sometimes people will say that it's actually more advantageous to not follow. You actually lose more time by snaking. And I don't know what side of the fence you guys are on, but I've heard it before, and I'm sticking to it. But right to that rear deck lid is the number 42, trying to get a little bit of air on that left front. Try to run just that little bit lower than the 14. Seemed to work. Right to the rear bumper, right to the rear deck lid, and now let's see, will he pull out in line or will he stay put?
We'll stay put for now, but the 14 is going to have to mirror drive from this point on. I mean, the 42 seemed like throughout the race, he clipped the apron there a little bit through 3, but it seems like throughout the race, 42's been the top car, whether that's in dirty air or almost in clean air at this point, but he's been able to navigate his way through the top 15, the top 10. He's inside the top 5. Now he's going to have a look at the lead. As soon as I say that, here comes the 42 of Logan Clampett trying to take over into 1.
Yep, and he will clear. That 42 has gone from the 40th spot to the top of the podium here at IMS. And we'll see how long, if he can hang on to it. And I don't really see any imminent threats in his arrears right now, but here comes, I keep fact-checking myself. It's Zach in the 44 to the inside of Jonathan Evans with Jake. I thought he was going to draft. Now he's going to take a look. Is he going to maintain that move? He'll think better of it. Not going to go for the 2 for 1, but he's going to try to work on that number 26 of Jonathan Evans, but he is squirrely down there. He may have to pull back in line. No, he'll get the runoff of 3 into the chute, into 4. Will he clear? No, 26 will hang tough on that outside.
It's going to pull the 70 of Andrew Payne right with him. Meanwhile, in the back, John Furness was mirror driving the 11 of Philip Groner. And, yeah, for the most part, they're going to go door to door. And didn't we see that 88 spinning around a little while ago? Now he's on the cusp of a top 10. So never say never here at Indianapolis. He's possibly looking for a top 10 if this battle continues down the back.
Yeah, I don't know if these are carbon fiber Xfinity bodies or if they're made out of like carbon nanotubes or something, because he was definitely involved in something. And I think you said something. You had a clever nickname to say, the Alaskan Assassin. Is that what you called him? See the Alaska on his rear bumper there, but he is in the 10th spot. See what he can do with it. Andrew Payne, is that a name that we've talked about here today? I'm going to answer the question and probably say no. But he's in the 7th spot in the 70, and now he is looking to have a little bit of a chance to the inside of Evans. Evans going down all the way to the block, going high, going low. Someone's blinking there, but that battle will continue.
Yeah, Babby's been blinking in and out a couple of times, so Evans will have to get with him on that if it continues to go the way that it's going. But Krezik's on his way down. He's down to 3rd. Zach Nichols up to 2nd. Jake Nichols trying to go up to 3rd. If there's anyone that's going to give the 42 a run for his money, it's the Nickel boys, and that's not, they're not brothers, they're not related, but they both share the last name, and Nichols, Jake Nichols that is, goes to 3rd. Okrezik down to 4th. They're still door-to-door for 5th. Forbes Jr. on the outside trying to power his way around Jonathan Evans, and despite his blinking, Matthew Bappy's still in contention for a top 5 spot.
26 really struggling down to the inside, and more so struggling is the 17, and
Oh, that's not going to be well, it might be a
Oh
yellow
no!
now.
Oh no!
Yep, now it is.
He did the smartest thing you can do in that situation, and that was nothing. Because if he tried moving, he was going to kill one of the lanes that was trying to evade him here. But let's take a look at Evans. They're just complimenting him on the run that he's had and working up, surviving. All for naught here. 17 of Forbes into the wall. And just innocent bystander bounces off. And that was the part that made it bad. That car just hooked right at the very end. But again, I want to bring up the point because it caused it again, Hunter. You got to watch the safer barriers here at IMS, as that's where he hit it. Let's just go back a little bit further. You can see where that safer barrier tapers out. Right here. Watch where the safer barrier tapers out and watch where the 17 hits it.
Right on the end of that ending of the safer barrier, just right there. Unfortunate for him and for Jonathan Evans. They were one of the few guys that got through that crash unscathed, mostly because it happened in front of him. But yeah, unfortunate there for Jonathan Evans, looking to get back in this thing. As I don't know if you'd pit. If you're far enough back, there's not too many guys left that are competitive, but seems like everyone's going to be. Oh,
clamp it. Did he get
a lot of guys
stuck?
pitting.
I don't know if he shook and baked, shook and book himself. I don't know if he knew what he wanted to do. But he is gonna pit, and that'll leave about 7 or 8 cars on the track. Now, I guess if I am Clamp It, I would reason that with he saw the 44 coming, and maybe he realized, all right, maybe I'm not gonna win this race with that 44. A little bit better off than me. Maybe I'm better off, and hopefully I can drag enough people in with me.
I think I don't know. I think it might have been the right call there for Clamper to come down pit road. He definitely has more backing of cars coming in and pitting rather than those staying out. So this will be interesting to see. So he came out 7th. So yeah, really not that bad for the 42. He'll only be a few spots back. Jake Nichols, Anna Sogak, Klakatis, Jeff Wright, and Brady Walleman, they'll have a handful on this next restart.
Yeah, you can see here on the stints on the ticker. 12 laps for our top 3, 8 laps on their stint for the next 3. So I'm actually, retrospect, I'm taking this call. I'm happy with it. I would rather have fresh tires and 12 lap better tires and be in 7th than I guess the alternate situation here at this point. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that call if I'm him.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch him work his way through and see how short time he'll be able to do so. But Zach Nichols, Jake Nichols are going to have to bank on some quick yellows to come out, because if they go on a green flag run from here to the finish, they might be screwed. So only time will tell. John Forbes Jr. came out 2nd of those that pitted. Matthew Bappy, Connor Okrezik. Okrezik might be in a good spot in securing a top 5 finish if that is the route that we choose to go down with green flag racing to the end. I mean, there are still a lot of guys that are coming down pit road just trying to repair damage from that wreck. I still can't believe how many cars it took out. Looking at DNFs, I think Daniel Day, Brad Slaughter, Michael Venable, Joseph Berg, Matt Kemp, Nate Stewart. Is he still on the track?
Let's see, Mr. Stewart. Yeah, he is retired. We got Dominic Stewart, Venable, Slaughter, and Day are formally retired. We still have a couple cars sitting in the pits just with infinite amounts of damage that are probably not going to return to any capacity, but they're still here. They haven't formally retired for the race, but on track actively. We still have 31 on the lead lap, and a couple guys a lap down, a couple guys multiple laps down, but still 31 on the lead lap. But I can't tell you all 31 of them are 100%. Batting around this track, a few guys who are trying to catch all the way up here, but 44 of Zach Nichols. Remember, he led, I think he ended up leading the most laps last week at New Hampshire, even though he didn't have the fastest car. He led the most laps circumstantially But he is really going to be hoping that those 6 cars to his outside and behind him can play the defense of champions here, because he is going to need every last bit of delay and distraction to hold that 42 on his climb through the field.
Yeah, it's going to be a handful for those guys. I mean, we saw how little time it took for the 42 to get around Connor O'Kresick, given the track position that he had. But the top 6 not on the equal playing field. If 7th on back, seems like everybody else is. So will be interesting in how these guys go on the restart zone with the older tires compared to those with newer tires on the back.
Now can watch out for the 4th row. That is where the fresher tires do begin. But 1 to green obviously being displayed in the pits is the pace car, and we'll try yet another restart here. Will it be the final one? Will more tomfoolery come about? Let's find out. Barney waves the flag. We already have some guys slicing and dicing. We have that 42. He wants the lead. He wants spots gained, and he's going for it now. 3 wide into 1.
Yeah, looking to get around Jeff Wright. He'll be able to do just that. Brady Wildman as well. The guys are still fanning out back there. Some even going all the way up to the outside. That's Wildman, the 39, just trying to go through.
No.
He hits the wall. It's going to be a massive checkup effect going on there, but guys spacing out, going through just fine. Here comes the 42 of Clampett. We're going to get around Casey Lakatos there for the 4th spot. He'll do that just fine.
Yeah, and they're still 3 wide in the back. Wallman all the way to the outside. That's the 98 of Rafe Slate in the middle. Gets squeezed up by Matthew Bell as Clampett is into the 4th spot. I just smell a caution. It just, it's just itching to happen right here, but hopefully these guys can't evade it. They have managed to do so for the time being. But if you are a Nichols, not brother, but if you're a Nichols driver, fear your track position, because a hard charging, not even a hard charging, he has the Mario Kart bullet bill out right now. That 42 is charging through this field, gained about 5 spots in a lap and a half.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time at this point. Already sniffing the bumper of Jake Nichols down the back. I mean, made quick work of Anna Sogak, Lakatos, John Forbes Jr. as well. So Jeff Wright also trying to send it down in there. Connor O'Kresick looking to navigate his way through the carnage that's around him. He'll go to the outside of Jeff Wright and try to take that position away. Meanwhile, on board with Philip Groner closing in on the battle as well. Gonna look to the inside and have a nice run.
Yes, he is indeed, as already Clampett has gotten right to the rear bumpers of the Nichols company. And we'll see what he can do with 73. You can just see how much slower through the center of the corner that the 73 is. That's those 12-lap tires. And now right to the inside, 42 can hook that ideal line, and he'll clear right through the center of the corner. So we questioned his strategy. He was one of the few not to pit. He clearly knows what he's doing. You know his tenure here on iRacing. You know his track record, his stat sheet. And he knows what he's doing, and clearly doing that, as he's going to probably be in the lead within, I'd say, half a lap.
Might even be here on corner exit. Might not even be half a lap. He's got such a great run underneath the 44 of Zach Nichols. He's going to look to the inside. He might even lead this lap here.
Oh, we're wrecking.
Oh, wreck. It's Anna Sogak spinning on the front stretch. The yellow is going to come out before the 42 takes over as the leader. And that's going to shake some things up for those guys who stayed out. Maybe they come in and pit and try to make up some ground that way. But Anna Sogak's day is going back downhill.
Now let's check our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay here. See what happened to the 88 car. That's Forbes behind him. We'll get another perspective, but I would say there was a little bit of help involved there. And O'Kresick there just barely makes through. 88 into the pit attenuator there. O'Kresick may have a penalty. I know we don't clear penalties from my knowledge here in this series, so we'll see what happens to Connor. But yeah, that's a little bit of help there. And oof.
Yeah, just caught that pit attenuator. The thing that happened with O'Kresick was similar to what happened with Jeremy Miller on Monday, and he got his black flag cleared for that. So He was avoiding a wreck, so I would assume they would clear it. I could be wrong in that, but just from my perspective, it seemed like the 14 was going low to avoid a wreck. Otherwise, he would have been caught up in that with the 80 to Vanasogak, but we'll see what the admins say about that. And I think Sebastian Marin might be the lucky dog in this situation.
He was 1 lap down. Yep, but there he is, so he'll get back up and prepare for the restart. Get himself on the lead lap, has some damage to fix. Luckily, a long track to fix it, but here comes Zach and company. Zach, Jake, there is the 50 of Lacatus. He was involved to wreck earlier in the event, but obviously was able to get enough damage repaired to where it doesn't matter. So let's take a look and analyze things. 6 laps. It's just like, if you're Logan, I feel like Logan, he wants everybody to be on even keel. He just wants, I know I can do this. I want track position, and I want everything just to be even so I could show my skill. But every situation, he is at either an advantage or a deficit, and we can't really see where he fully stacks up.
Well, it looks like Connor Okrezik has left the session. From what I'm being told, he was the cause of that wreck, 14 into 17 into the 88. They cleared the penalty of him with the unsafe pit exit, or pit entry, I should say, but iRacing still sends him into the rear. Well, they sent him to the rear of the field for the restart, so he chose to have an early shower. So it was a racing incident for that wreck, so no incident points will be dished out, but unfortunate for the 14 to end his night that way.
Yeah, exactly that. Had a good run, obviously led some laps, and was dropping back, but probably would have had a top 10 run most likely. But pertaining to this sequence here, we have, let's try to make out how many drivers. Jake is the first to pit. But unfortunately, Logan, he was the first to pit, and he was 7th, at a 1 in front of that, and that's where Mr. Jake Nichols is right now, 17th, in 14 more circuits, probably have about 12 when we go back green. So that is going to be a tall hill to climb. Just thinking of some kind of reference there, and I don't know if he can, but he's not going to go down without swinging.
We got our 1 to go for this restart. Logan Clampen's going to be in the best spot. John Forbes Jr. also in a really good spot, looking to pick up his first win in area. Philip Groner, haven't mentioned him too much. He's been outside the top 10 majority of the day. Same with James Skyle. He's been hovering around that top 10 spot, so looking for a good finish there for the points. Matthew Bappy's still running inside the top 5. He's had an excellent day despite his connection blinking in and out lately. Matthew Bell in 6th, a great run for Rafe Slane, that 98 in 7th for this restart. Greg Mitchell as well, P8. 9th, Blaze McKinney. He's been right around that position all day. He's been caught up in some carnage. He's been going as low or as high as he can on the racetrack, whether he's being blocked or not. And then Andrew Payne, solid 10th place position so far.
Exactly that. And, as things get hotter here at Indy towards the end of the race, head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the hottest sauces locally in South Florida. The Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series. See which driver takes home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie. Of course, you can join Hunter with that, along with John Ramos, on the IDK Player YouTube channel on Monday nights as the start off of the week. Of course, in the real world, the Cup ends the week, but here in Area, Cup starts the week, and you'll catch that on Monday nights. You can catch rickshotsauce.com. But we'll come to 12 laps to go. Obviously, that 42 is the one that we're looking at. I don't know anybody in the top 5 or so that I think has an immediate, challenge for him. But sometimes people can dig deep, and they'll find stuff they didn't know they had towards the end of the race. And we'll see what happens as we enter the restart zone, Hunter.
Yeah, Logan Clampen's going to be in a good spot here as the control car. And then looking a little further back, those guys that did pit are going to have some ground to make up if they want to have a shot at possibly getting a good finish out of this. Meanwhile, the green back out. Clampen with a great jump. John Forbes Jr. going to send it into turn one, looking for some momentum.
Now he managed to clear on that outside lane and gets himself right in the best position he can be in, second, within about a car length of the back bumper of that number 42. Philip Grunner, highest he's been all day. He's underneath Scioli, who I think that's the highest he's been all day. The shuffling and the wrecks have really kind of shuffled the order here. But that Batby, he's been up front all day. And Matthew Bell, he's been through the ringer. He's been through the wall. And he still finds himself just knocking on the door of a top 5 there in that number 9 car.
And behind them, Blaze McKinney very closely cleared Rafe Slate. Oh, contact in the back. Braxton DeWeese almost whipping around. Jeff Wright's going to go sliding in the turn 4. Keeps it straight. He's still trying to corral it. Unbelievable drive from the 48 of Jeff Wright through turn 4. That thing was sideways the entire time.
Shades of Jamie McMurray at Las Vegas. See, yeah, he got tapped there by the 13, and then look at him just absolutely Tokyo Drift kamikaze saving that car here at Indy. He saved it, but I'll tell you one thing, that one part of that car that ain't happy, and that's that right rear tire. So hopefully he can hang on to that thing.
I mean, in a place where you turn left through the corner, he turned right for about 90% of that. So great drive from the 48. Tires are going to be screaming, though. Speaking of tires, the 73 of Jake Nichols on newer tires is almost cracked the top 10. He's trying to do so, trying to get around the 5 of Garrett Grant. And then looking behind Garrett Grant, the 09 of Bryce Senesag, all the carnage he was caught up in. He was involved in the first 2 yellows. He's still in the 14th position. Oh, about to be 15 now with Zach Nichols passing him. But, I mean, that's got to be a win at the end of the day if you're the 09. I mean, with the way that race started, I'm pretty sure he'll take the spot that he's in right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That car went through the ringer here today. He's been involved in at least 2 or 3 things, but finds himself in a very, very salvageable position right now. I thought I saw the 17 close again. He was within a 1/10 of a second of Clampett for a brief moment. Must have had a bad corner, or maybe Clampett had a bad corner, but I think it's a bad corner for the 17, because that's opened the door for Scioli in the 7. He's going to dive to the inside, and will Forbes battle on that outside? If he battles too long, it might allow Grunner to close on it. He'll fall back in the line, and let's see if that's 7. Does he have anything in the tank? Does he have the speed to maybe get up there and challenge that 42?
It was the one that got away in season 5. He led the most laps here, and he finished P6. That's James Scioli in the 7. He's looking to kiss the bricks here virtually tonight, which I would assume that'd be the computer screen, but he's overdue for a win this season, and he was robbed of this one back in season 5, so just trying to seek vengeance for that. Meanwhile, the 73 Jake Nichols still trying to enter the top 10. Rafe Slate's on that 10th spot, but he is hounding his bumper down the back.
Hounding his bumper down the back, indeed, as they all are spanning out towards the back of the field. Here comes Grunner underneath Forbes, and that's that battle for the 3rd spot. Batby there trying to just take advantage of who prospers here, which I believe to be Grunner, but Grunner nearly washed up into the 17. We've seen that happen astray a few times here on the evening. Move that 11 up to P number 3. And side by side they will be. Oh, no, they won't, because Batby did fall back in line. And taking a look at the gaps up front, Scioli losing a little bit of time, holding mainly even, but losing just a little bit of time every other lap or so.
Yeah, Scioli just trying to hold on, not to lose too much. It's down to half a second, or up to half a second, I should say, between the 42 and the 7. All these guys in the back are all nose to tail from 3rd on. Here's Blaze McKinney in 87. We've mentioned him throughout the night. He's been right around 9th or 10th throughout the race, but he's up to 6th at the moment. I say that as Matthew Bell's looking to diamond through, get a good run trying to get around him. Meanwhile, Jake Nichols still trying to fight his way through. He's going to look around the 28 of John Furness, but Zach Nichols has passed him that quickly. So these two are on a mission trying to get up to the front with laps dwindling. Only 7 more laps before the end of the race. These guys trying to get back in a winning mood.
They, last time by, I mean, obviously they were making passes, but drew even with the lap that Logan Clampett ran up in the front of the field that he is in clean air. So obviously those tires 6 laps newer, but they had to use a lot of those tires to gain the spots they've even gained. I mean, he's in the 9th spot. You can see Grunner is within immediate immediate sight there. So realistically, they could maybe siphon themselves still onto the podium, but asking for those top two might be a little bit too much to ask for. 70 getting loose to the inside. That'll surely take some advantage, put it in the 73 to gain a spot, but I guess he kind of got stuck there and had to back off.
Wrong place at the wrong time for that to happen. Ruined his momentum, so he had to corral it back for turn 4. Looks like he won't even be alongside the 70 going into turn 1. So this is really going to hinder the progress of not only Jake Nichols, but Zach Nichols himself. And as soon as I say that, he dives into turn 1. Zach Nichols going to follow suit. Going to be real tight on corner exit. Andrew Payne just going to stick to the outside and let everybody go.
Yeah, he just about had some pain with that turn 2 concrete, and he's still not done. That 70 is really on the struggle bus right now. Got loose off of 2. That allows Zach trying to get himself a top 10, and if he can maintain that spot, he will, because that is the 10th position. John Furnass, he's been up and down the field today trying to take advantage of it, but that 70 is loosey-goosey, really just trying to hang on here. And only about 5 more circuits around Indy, but 5 circuits around this track, still over 10 miles of racing. A lot can happen. And look at down the front.
Wow.
The Nichols going at it. They're side by side with each other as they're both trying to battle with Matt Bell.
Yeah, Jake's going to the outside now. I mean, that's unprofound here, but with the tire advantage, it's quite common. I'd say this late in the going, newer tires better than older tires, even on the outside of Indianapolis. Going to have a great run down the backstretch. Him and Zach Nichols, nose and tail. Zach Kerr joining the mix as well. All those guys inside the top 10, but Jake wants to go for that win that he was in, but the 44 of Zach Nichols has other plans, and he'll look to take over the 7th position from him right now.
I mean, at some point, they're not brothers, but there's co-opetition. They both know the end game is to gain as many spots as possible, but at some point, we've all been there at a Daytona or a Talladega. You're trying to chase down the pack in front of you. At some point, you realize I'm not going to get it. May as well get every spot I can. Speaking of gaining every spot I can, Zach Kerr going for 3. He is going down to the inside in 1, and they're going to remain 3 abreast entering 1. That's not something you see every day, and 3 wide on exit surely isn't going to work. As we have wall contact, and what will happen?
Nothing. They'll go through just fine. There might be some tempers flaring over the radio, but for the most part, Jake Nichols got the worst end of that, and he's going to probably get around the 12 of Zach Kerr, if I had to guess. Going into turn 3, they're going to be door-to-door for that position. Matthew Bell just watching from afar as this unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to be mad, but Kerr struggling to keep the car down there, but, at the same time, you have to know the position you put yourself in. If you put yourself on the top of 3 wide and you don't back off and you hit the wall, I mean, sometimes you got to make decisions. So, but either way, they'll keep battling, try to do the best they can. Jeff Wright trying to join the battle. Up front, I will say, and not just to make drama as a broadcaster, Scioli is sort of sometimes gaining. The gap into 1 did dip into the 4s, but maybe he overdrove it because now it's starting to gain back up into the 6s or on corner exit. Clampett really getting a good run. They have pulled a pretty big gap on Groner here, who is in 3rd, and of the Nichols, who is going to have the better run, going to be Zach. He is kissing the edge of that top 5 there. That's Matt Batby, who is hanging on to that 5th spot right in front of him.
Indeed, as he's knocking on the door for that top 5, Jake Nichols still trying to find a way around Zach Kerr in the 12. I mean,
wall from Blaze there. Pretty hard impact.
Whoa, hello, Matthew Bell blocking all the way down to the inside wall, and Jeff Wright, I think he hit the inside wall just to tap it.
I saw smoke, and 48 really washing up the track. The tires are as old.
Whoa! Oh, Blaze! Oh, what a save from Blaze. Meanwhile, Jeff Wright almost lost it himself. We're still green. If we get a yellow here, we're going to have overtime, and we've seen a close call. Matthew Bell. Oh, my gosh. They're flirting with disaster here.
We're on 2 laps to go. If we get to the white, we will finish under the green flag conditions one way or another. Clampett is coming through turn 3 through the chute, and these guys are trying as hard as they can to cause a wreck, but we'll see what happens. And what will happen first, the wreck, or do we get to the start-finish line? Logan Clampett is on the front straightaway. Barney has the flag. No, he doesn't have the flag. There he is. But we're not at the stripe. We are at the stripe now. The race is official.
One more lap to go from Indianapolis. 0.7 of a second lead for Logan Clampett over James Scioli. These guys in the back half of this running order, they've been flirting with disaster over the last handful of laps. Furness in the wall. There we go. Almost wrecking going into turn 2. John Furness. Oh, there he is. Hard into the outside wall. It's not going to matter. We're going to finish this one out. And they're still colliding coming out too. Meanwhile, Logan Clampett running away with it.
Bell. Yeah,
Matthew
so
Bell.
They couldn't wait. They couldn't do it with 1 lap to go, with 2 laps to go, or they could have got a restart. But either way, Logan Clampett, he was off strategy all race, but he made the right decisions. When we thought he was making the wrong call, he knew what he was doing. He got those fresh tires. He drove through the field, and Logan Clampett will kiss the bricks. Logan Clampett, if he can stay connected, will win here at the Brickyard.
Wow, drama at the very end. Logan Clampett getting the job done. Getting the first win of the season. And then the rest of the guys racing it out to the finish line. James Scioli coming up just short in second. Philip Groner with a solid top 3. Zach Nichols 4th. And John Forbes Jr. with his 3rd top 5 in the Pro Series.
Now, there's only about 12,000 things to look at on that last sequence. And we won't look at all of them, but we'll look at the things that most came into interest here. There's John Furness here. Who is that with Travis Beckner, I believe. Here we are 3 wide, Lacadis Beckner in the wall, and that's what did in Matthew Bell. But, you know, this last lap, Bell had such an up and down day. Never really had a winning car, but he had easily a top 5 car, but the circumstances didn't work out. And Logan Clampett's connection hung on just long enough to where he can get the victory here at Indy. And what was his final take on the lap counter? 18 laps that Tiltify Wounded Warrior Project Camaro will have led here at Indy, and he'll burn it on down.
Burning out over the virtual bricks. Pretty sacred on that, so I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the 42 that he's doing that, but he don't care. He won the race, and he's going to celebrate any way that he chooses to. So congrats on him for getting that win on the season. Again, the one that got away from James Scioli. Thought that he had a good shot there at the end. Just wasn't enough to close down the 42.
Not enough, Indy, but Logan Clampett gets the final margin of victory as 1 second over James Scioli. Philip Groner, he was all over the place here today. Had to do some battle and gets a 3rd. Zach Nichols went from about 18th to 4th on that final stint, gets his 4th. John Forbes had a good day in 5th. Matthew Batby in 6th. Zach Kerr ruffled some feathers, but he gets a 7th. Jake Nichols will have to settle for 8th. Blaze McKinney and then Jeff Wright in that 10th position.
And then 11th, just missing out on the top 10, Brody Falliker, Andrew Payne 12th, Greg Mitchell, Ed Robertson, Casey Lakatos, top 15. Then Brady Wildman, Garrett Grant, Rafe Slate, Ben Pierce, and Francis Hamilton round out the top 20.
And 21st through 30th, we got Bryce Senesac. He hit everything except the Powerball here today in 21st. Braxton DeWeese 22nd. Alan Fox, Travis Beckner involved in that last incident. David Weishart, super quiet day for him. Matt Bell, he saw that happen to him in 26th. Reese Schaefer, I don't think I said his name once here today. Well, there it is. He's 27th. Sebastian Marin, he was involved in that absolute train wreck on the front straightaway. Jimmy Cocker and John Furness. And then the rest of these guys are all multiple laps down, many of which were in that front straightaway calamity that we had about halfway. Some notables, the 26 of Jonathan Evans O'Kresick, he was doing well. And our last page of results, Brad Slaughter, again, he had his pit road attenuator issue.
Yeah, that was a massive hit there early on for the Ada Slaughter, but all things considered, I think we have our 2nd and 3rd place finisher. Still looking for Logan Clampett. Not sure if he'll join us.
He's around. We just gotta steal him from his folks here, and we'll send him to Victory Circle with you, Hunter, if you want to have a word.
Sure will. Here is the winner, Logan Clampett. Again, his first win of the season in the 4th race of the Pro Series. Interesting race, to say the least. There were some strategy calls there where me and Corey were kind of questioning the calls you made to come down pit road, but we know nothing. We don't control the car. You do. You get the job done, and you did that tonight with Lucky Doug Motorsports. Talk me through your night.
Yeah, just decided to start in the back for fun, just like I did on Monday. And yeah, that was a lot of fun coming through the field. Towards the end, there was definitely some strategies. We wanted to originally save gas until the end, so we took tires and got fuel, hoping it would stay green, and caution came out, which kind of threw off our strategy. So kind of just let it play out. And then I remember that one time we went green for maybe like 5 laps, 6 laps, and I tried to fake Zach and Jake there to stay out because I wanted to come in and take tires because it was going to be, like a half second faster each lap. So I don't know if they got faked out by me or not, but they stayed out, and next caution they came back in and they were just too far back, and thankfully we were able to hold off James. He was pretty quick there towards the end.
It was the right call. It was the winning call. And next week we head to Watkins Glen, a interesting track, our first road course of the season. Initial thoughts heading into that race?
Yeah, I think we'll be pretty good at Watkins Glen. We were solid there in the college series. I was right there with Steven Wilson and Parker White. So that should be a fun race.
All right, well, congrats on the win. First of many this season, the 42 of Logan Clamp, and getting the job done here at the Brickyard.
All right, I didn't know if he was going to have any sponsor shout-outs there, but second place, we got Mr. James Scioli. James, you had a day, well, most everyone had an interesting day. You certainly did as well. Started 17th, get yourself second on the podium, but it was not as easy as that. A lot of cautions, a lot of tire strategies, and of course, a lot of carnage to navigate through, but you did a good job in that 7. Kind of summarize your night for us.
Yeah, I just got to qualify better, unfortunately. I felt like I had really good speed, especially showed it there on that last run. I mean, Clampett was still a little bit better and on that run there at the end. But yeah, just got to qualify better. Unfortunately, got damage early on, so immediately went from 17th to the back, and then damage control, made it back to 10th, and then immediately got damage once I got to 10th, had to go to the back again, and then luckily, I don't know how it happened, but everybody wrecked on the restart in front of me, and I got no damage. Nobody piled in from behind, so I was able to go from the back. Finally, back to the top 10 again. Had a couple extra sets of tires, so threw some on there, and just unfortunately was on the right side of the strategy and ended up P2. So definitely a back and forth day. Definitely feel like I had enough pace to be up here at the front. Just unfortunately with bad qualifying, just wasn't able to show it throughout the whole race. But definitely glad to be on the podium. Yeah,
it's kind of a day that we never really saw guys on even playing field. It was all different tire strategies, different sequences all through the race, but works out for you in the end. We head to the first road course of the season. Logan, just talked to him. He is looking pretty confident heading into the Glen next week. What about you in that 7 camp on 609? Where are you feeling on the road course next week?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. I know Clampett will be good there. We just ran the college series there in this car, so I know he's got pretty good speed. I felt like I had pretty good speed too. Just looking for a nice clean day there. Hopefully don't mess up qualifying, just start up front and just have a nice worry-free day. Won't have to worry about yellows or tire strategy or anything in that race. So definitely just hoping for a nice, clean, solid day, and hopefully we can just run in the top 5 the whole time and be there at the end.
All right, and we'll see what you can do, man. Congrats. You don't quite have the milk here today, but we'll see what you can do next week. Maybe you can get the W there.
Yeah, first, I want to give a shout out to you guys for taking over the broadcast. We really appreciate it this year. I know I haven't got a chance to talk to you guys yet, so just wanted to say thank you to you guys. Big thanks to the admin team. And then shout out 609 Motorsports. Big shout out to Philip for finishing 3rd. Good team points day. Shout out Simrat Market and Matt Liveries for being on the car. And hopefully we're talking to you guys again next week.
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you for the words.
Thank you.
All right, and I just have to get a little bit of admin work done because I forgot to. Our victory interview was brought to you by Victory Fuel. You celebrate tonight's win with Victory Fuel. Choose from the caffeine-free flavors like Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, or Lucky Lemon. Each can packed with electrolyte, charged with vitamins, and kid-friendly. You get a 10% discount if you order with Area iRacing promo code at checkout. But now Philip Groner, he had a very busy day, and there's Hunter with him in 3rd.
Yeah, it was a quite eventful day for Philip Groner in the 11. I think that the thing that turned around for you, Philip, was when that caution, or it was one of the yellows that came out, you stayed out, and then that big one happened on the restart where the whole track was blocked. Talk to me through the decision making there and what your vantage point was from the wreck.
Well, yeah, I was a dead center of that wreck, so I thought I was killed. It was a wreck before that. I thought I was going to be killed too. Yeah, I got good luck this time around. Finally, needed that. I don't know how I wound up in third. I definitely didn't have the pace. It showed there at the end on that final run with the 7 and Clamp it pulling away, but we'll take these. It hasn't been a good season this year, so yeah, appreciate Connor Horn and Matt Tom Ellery for the badass paint schemes every week.
Well, after a great finish like that, the best finish of the season, you jump up inside the top 15 in points. I'm trying to find specifically where you're 12th. So you went from 18th to 12th in the point standings. Best finish of the season. Heading into Watkins Glen next week, initial thoughts on the first road course of the season for the pro guys?
Yeah, there's a lot of talented people in this field. I think I'll probably be a 15th to 20th place car, to be honest, unless I find some time to get some laps in. But yeah, I mean, I just need solid finishes at this point.
Solid finish indeed, just like tonight. Third place for Philip Gruner, best finish of the season from the driver out of the 609 Motorsports. Congrats.
Appreciate it.
All right, and that'll wrap up our post-race show here today at Indy. Hunter, a very, very chaotic day, probably a record-setting incident that I'm sure will be talked about for seasons to come, but ultimately no surprise with who sips the milk here tonight.
Yeah, that completely slipped my mind. The glass of milk. We didn't even ask Logan if he drinks 2% chocolate whole. We didn't even ask him that. But yeah, a very chaotic race to say the least. And the two races that we had here combined heading into the night had 9 yellows. Well, we doubled that total literally in this race. 9 yellows. It was a chaotic race to say the least. Different strategies playing through. And once again, the driver who led the most laps did not win the race. That was Jake Nichols tonight. He finished 8th, led 30 of 75, but ultimately in the end, it was the right call from the Logan Clamp. It started all the way back in 40th. Didn't even put a time down in qualifying. Drove through the field and was able to get the job done.
Exactly that. Zach Kerr with the fastest lap of the race at a 53.8 as the track cooled down later in the event. Make sure, again, if you're watching here on YouTube, like and comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We're almost at 1,600 subscribers. If you're on Twitch, consider following and subscribing there on Twitch. And $5 a month gets you all those emotes, and you can get yourself free merch over the course of time here. Help things out over there. We will be live next on PTR TV, I believe next Tuesday, and that'll be with the truck series. We got the triple header next week at the Glen, so we'll be doing our 2/3 of it on Tuesday and Thursday. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But that's going to be Corey and Hunter signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.